Welcome back, everybody. That sure was a run, I guess. I wasn't able to watch it because I was in setup. But yeah, I'm Cadarev. I will be running Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris. This is one of the few spin-off games that have been done of this rather well-known franchise. But as you can see, it's not a Tomb Raider game because it doesn't say Tomb Raider in the title. Yeah, I will just start a new game, and this time I will remember to start the timer, and timer starts after this cutscene, so once Lara runs out of the entrance, I will give you the countdown. Yeah, and then I will hopefully explain a few more things. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Bit early, but whatever. So yeah, as you can see, this is a bit different from your usual Tomb Raider experience, and of course I get the softlock first try. Nice. So sometimes this orb here doesn't spawn when it should spawn. Please spawn. It's okay. Yeah, there we go. Don't question me why that's, or don't question why that's happening. I really don't know. Anyways, so yeah, as you can see, this is a bit different. You have this isometric perspective, and this is one of the two games that was mainly intended to be a co-op game. So the first one, Guardian of Light, you can do 2-player co-op. In this one you can actually do up to 4-player co-op, also online. As you see, I will do a solo run. It was originally accepted as a co-op run, and co-op is very, very different from solo. So as you can see, this run should take around 55 minutes. A co-op run takes around 5 minutes, which is slightly shorter, as you may be able to tell. And I can soon explain why that's the case. Now this first tutorial level is not too different from co-op. I mean, of course, some glitches I can't do, but in the end it's the same. You just do whatever necessary to get to the final exit. You can see I have already a few weapons. I'm doing New Game Plus. There is not too big of a difference between New Game and New Game Plus, so most of people just run New Game Plus because it's less tedious to do boss battles and so on. Also, please don't blame Eraser for not doing this. It's alright, don't worry. We still have next year or whatever. Yeah, so I already have a few weapons. The staff I'm carrying right now, you always have that one, you can't even change it out, so that's used for a lot of puzzles. And then you have 3 open slots. I have them filled with 1 pair of submachine guns called the Spitfire, which deals fire attacks, which is very useful later on in the run, because it allows you to light torches without using your actual torch. So Lara would carry a torch, but to light stuff with that torch you need to be very close to it, and that's boring. So instead we can use our weapon. I also have a rocket launcher that I already used to destroy the turrets, and I have the railgun, which is, or will be, my main source of damage, because it's a very powerful weapon. Not the fastest fire rate, but that's usually not necessary. So what makes co-op a lot faster is that obviously you have 2 people, but one of these people will always be one of the Egyptian goddess. So you have, one player always has to be Lara. Then in 2-player co-op, the other person has to be either Isis or Horus, which are 2 Egyptian deities. And these deities, they don't have like the pew-pew guns that Lara has, but they have the staff in co-op, and they have the ability to form a shield around them. And that shield pretty much breaks the entire game, because you can push your co-op partner through walls, you can push them behind collision, and you obviously can skip a lot of stuff with that. And as soon as I'm out of this tutorial level, which will soon be the case because this is the final chase scene, I will be placed in front of the final boss lobby. The only problem being it is locked down for now, and in solo I can't do anything about that. But as I just said, in co-op you can pretty easily go out of bounds. And obviously placing us right in front of the final boss is very generous of the developers. So in co-op we basically finish this level, start in front of the boss lobby, and immediately clip inside to go to the final boss. That will not be the case here. Instead, what we'll do is kind of the intended way, which is now that Lara has set free Set, the evil Egyptian deity, we have to awaken Osiris. So behind me was the big pyramid with the bosses. We will go in there 3 times, because the previous bosses are also going to be fought in there. So now we have to collect the 10 limbs of Osiris to reawaken Osiris, which is the good god, and he will banish Set That's not the weapon I wanted to choose, but okay. Works well enough. So the only, like, it's not the only difference, but the big difference between New Game and New Game Plus is mainly the damage you deal. Like, it's just less tedious to play New Game Plus. Actually very similar to Guardian of Light. And it's Z with S and not a Z. So don't worry, Z, you're not in any danger. I hope at least. So this is the first tomb. And this is a main theme for puzzles, is these boulders that are on a timer. Whenever I raise or activate my staff, which you can see right now, it's glowing, I slow down that timer, which allows me to carry it around for longer. And the ball changes from green to yellow to red, and when it's red it will soon explode, and as you can see we can use that to open certain passages. Here you're supposed to already carry on, but we can actually use this boulder for the next gate instead of getting a new one. And for that we will use our rocket launcher and a mine to hopefully launch it across the... sadly it didn't work. I'll just get a new one, that's okay. Which actually gives me more time to talk about. So I also have these mines here, that's standard. Also the deities have those. And they're remotely triggered mines, so you can trigger them whenever you want to. Like that. And obviously it's faster to maneuver these boulders around with bombs than pushing them like this. And they're also useful to hopefully this time launch them across the gap. That looks better. So now I can just go and use this boulder instead of moving around and getting a new one, which would involve me having to solve more puzzles. And I see a very satisfying number pop up in chat. Don't worry, soon I can let you handle that, Z. I'm basically just making my way to the next big fight, which will be a lot of scarabs. And that's where you will see the Spitfire for the first time. The first few ways I will deal with the rocket launcher, because it does a lot of AoE damage, but at some point I should be overwhelmed. Yeah, there we go. And that's the Spitfire. That was all of them. Interesting. Alright, yeah. Next room, there's really not too much to talk about. I will just do another one of these boulder puzzles where I have to get a boulder and drag it to the next gate to open it. So there is not too much to say, so I think Zed wants to say something.
Indeed, and as you have probably pointed out before, I have already teased chat about it. We have reached $400 total donations for Save the Children. Thank you so much, everybody. With this $10 donation by Smethlax148 saying, "This is not POP 3D," and that makes me sad. Also, $400, let's go! So thank you so much for making us reach that amount, but we are nowhere near finished yet. Please keep donations coming. It's for a really good cause.
I agree, and thank you very much, Smeth. I'm pretty sure this is actually Prince of Persia 3D. Like, it's obviously 3D, and it's pretty much Prince of Persia. I mean, kind of Princess of Persia, but, you know, it's very similar. So I'm not sure your complaint is valid. Yeah, you can see this part can be a bit annoying because the camera doesn't show you too much of what's ahead, but that went surprisingly well, let's say. So yeah, that was the first tomb, and we'll collect our first limb here of Osiris. Make our way back to the central hub, when I can get past this chest, for example. As you can see, most of the cutscenes we can skip, which is very nice. Now that we did the first tomb, we unlocked this boulder, which obviously we'll use to access the next part, where we will have a 3-phase fight in an arena to open up the next tomb. You can do a few shortcuts there. So what you're supposed to do is there is this central structure there, you can see, and now the fight starts, and these pillars will spawn that you can access this part. And you need to bomb this top part 3 times, but we can already stay up here and already drop a bomb for the next time it's vulnerable, so we don't have to climb up again, which saves a bit of time. But for the 3rd phase you will see that's not even all that necessary, because turns out the bomb radius is large enough as where you can hit the top of this part. Oops, didn't mean to do that because I got interrupted from my jump. But you can reach the top of this pillar by just bombing and while you're jumping. So Oh my god, where did that damage come from? Anyway, so yeah, now that we have this boulder, we can unlock the next tomb, which will be the Tomb of the Silversmith, which introduces the next kind of reoccurring puzzle thing, which are these light orbs that you need to extinguish by aiming your staff at them. And as you can see, mirrors obviously deflect the light, which makes for some interesting puzzles. Which sometimes are a bit finicky, but that's alright. So same in the next room, except that there are a lot of scarabs spawning, so I have to take care of those first. Not too happy with my health right now, but there should be some health spawns. Also, scarabs are one-shot by the mine I have, so that's very useful, because they tend to come in large numbers, but most of the time they can be taken out by those mines. But obviously I don't want to place them when I'm near the boulders that I need to push into a specific location, because that would just knock away the boulder. So here the game might crash. That's alright, because the checkpoints are rather generous in this game, but looks like I'm... Never mind, I'm not good. That's alright, don't worry about it. Good game, by the way. Should be back live, please confirm when possible. But as I said, the checkpoints are rather generous, so it should be right back where I was, hopefully, otherwise we start over. Amazing. Remote play together, by the way. So this is another interesting room. Actually, this cutscene I can't skip, so don't worry, I didn't forget that. So you're supposed to first kill this guy. You can see he has a mirror shield, so that would deflect your staff attack. But we can also try to ignore him, because if you were to kill him, a lot more enemies would spawn. But we can try to lure him away from where we will use our staff, so he doesn't pester us. Where is he? Okay, there he is. So we can take this rather specific route here, and that should allow us to extinguish these orbs without him annoying us. Which gives us access to the boss area, which will be Atep, the snake boss. And as you may expect, a lot more of these orb things. So you can see there are 4 possible locations and some boulders dropping in, and the switches between these orbs can be used to raise mirrors, and that's a bit annoying, but that's fine. Nice. Good bounces. So you obviously want to raise the shields so you can extinguish the orbs, like that. And we do that 3 times, and each time it's a more complex pattern. Here I will use the railgun because it one-shots skeletons, which is actually a good point to, or a good point in this run to talk about the amazing auto-aim in this game. So sometimes it works actually amazingly, like you can be on the other side of the room and it accurately hits the enemy, but sometimes you're 1 feet away and she just completely misses. So whatever, I don't know, sometimes you're lucky, I guess. Most of the times you aren't. That's not where I wanted to stand. That should be that. That's the second phase. Again, a few mobs will spawn. Sorry if I'm not reading chat too much right now. Trying to not make a fool out of myself. And now you can see this is an even more complex pattern, so now I need this boulder over there. And again, I use my mines to make most of the movement happen. That should be okay from what I can see. Yes. And that's that. That is absolutely correct, Exonerous. Definitely no connection between me preferring Hanit than Octopath Traveler. That would be foolish to assume. Alright, so that's 2. And now we will actually already go to the first major boss, which is Kepri, the Sun Beetle. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go into the central hub and change the daytime from night to day. But we can also use this boulder to skip ahead and go back to the pyramid. Like right now it's locked behind some iron bars. But with a correct jump and bomb boost we can actually cross this gate without doing that. Almost like that. But don't worry, like changing night to day takes quite a while because of all the cutscenes involved, so that's definitely faster in that. Luckily this doesn't screw up the game, but if I were to go in here and do one of the other bosses besides the first boss, it would screw up the game, so I'd rather not do that. So the Capri fight is rather, I don't want to say iconic, but because that's an overused word, but it's a very well-remembered boss fight in this game for most people that played it. Because like it's very, yeah, you will remember it easily, because yeah, you can see why. So the entire concept is you have Capri leaning on this giant ball. And whenever its fangs glow red, you can bomb them away with your mine. And once that happens, it exposes its weak spot on its belly, and then you can deal damage, and then it retreats, and you just have to wait until it spawns again. Hello, Rob. Yes, apparently Rob always spawns on this fight. That's what I told you. It's a very memorable fight. Memorable, that's the word I was looking for. So again, fangs glow red, I can bomb. Actually, this is rather RNG heavy. It doesn't look like it right now, but it's not... doesn't happen too often that Capri starts out with glowing red fangs. It also has a melee attack, or it can spawn more beetles, which doesn't allow you to bomb the fangs, so it's definitely appreciated after the crash earlier. But we still have one more phase ahead of us, and you can see there are some skeletons firing some projectiles at us, but it doesn't matter too much. So there should be one more phase. Hello. Let's see what we get. Yeah, so this will be melee attack and then it will spawn some beetles. Yeah, there we go. Now the other arm glow. Okay, now I can bomb this one. That's alright. So that was this fight. Now we just need to make the final jump to the central pyramid. And we get our next limb. You can make this jump a lot earlier, but it's a bit risky. And I don't want to lose much more time after the crash, so let's not go for that. So now the theme is that it starts raining a lot, because now next big boss that we will fight is Sobek, the crocodile. Or as it's called in Japanese, Sobek-kun, which it isn't, but the voice actor makes it sound like it, so it's become somewhat of a meme. So you may have been asking yourself why this is in Japanese. And the reason is that it's faster, because it's the only language I ever played this in, so I assume it's faster. But there is actually no difference, I'm just maybe a weep, I don't know. You can also see in the bottom left there is this, there's a gorge at the very left. Right now it's glowing bright white. So the more enemies you hit, and depending on the attacks you hit them with, that gorge fills up. And if it's full, you get the benefits of the relic you have equipped. Nice, please activate that switch, thank you. The relic I have equipped give me bonus damage. It gives me health regeneration and ammo regeneration, so it's very useful. And usually 1 or 2 shots hit with the railgun will activate the effect, so that's very good. Here we will actually do an out of bounds thing that is a bit precise to set up, so we want to... that might be a bit too early. No, that's fine, I think, yeah. So we cross that gap with a bomb boost, and we're not supposed to be here, as you will soon see, because we can scale this side of the mountain. All the way up here. So what you're supposed to do is go to that thing you can see there with the orb. It's kind of a roulette thing, where you would bomb it, and then it would spin for a bit, and if you're lucky you unlock the entrance to this tomb, but you can also just roll behind this and hope to hit the trigger at some point. Please, Lara. Lara... Yeah, getting closer. Please hit the trigger. Oh, there we go. So that's how you don't play roulette, because gambling is bad. Also there was Isis, the character I would usually play in co-op, but that's the only time we really see her in this run. Too bad. And the theme in this tomb is obviously like water and whatnot, so be ready for that. Whenever there's this grappling hook action here, you can usually see me firing my grappling hook once first before I even attach it to anything. That's intentional because the grappling hook in this game is notoriously buggy. Because even if you're right, like inside of such a grappling hook target, the first time you use it usually will just not work. She will just fire it straight ahead of her, which is very bad. So usually I will just fire it once to be sure that I can correctly use it. Again, here I will have to extinguish 2 of these yellow orbs you can see at the top coming in right now. Yes, but there will also be some enemies. I don't want to kill all of them. I want to let one of them alive. Preferably the one... yeah, okay, so there should be one more down here. Yes, okay. If I were to kill him as well, more enemies would spawn. And usually you want to leave the archer alive because they're the least annoying ones. Waiting for them to prove me wrong this time. So again, I have to raise this mirror because obviously otherwise I couldn't reach it. Don't walk in between, thank you. Yeah, so Razor in our co-op run and Toxic, both in chat right now, usually are the ones that play Lara and they know how bad the grappling hook is. So now we'll make our way ahead. You saw something there, don't worry about it. Again, all of these bright blue parts you can see in the environment usually are things you can interact with by raising your staff. And here is a bit more of enemy killing going on. This is the first time we see these crocodile enemies, so the gimmick with them... did they just swallow my bomb? Nice. The gimmick with them is you knock them down first, and then you have to bomb them with your mine, and then they die, yeah. Except if the bomb disappears for reasons, I guess. Alright, that was pretty good. Any comments about Guardian of Light? Don't play it, play this game. And here we will just cross a river, which definitely I've never failed, so there is no need to worry about it. And then I forget where to go. Yeah, exactly, play it more, isn't that right, Toxic? So here I want to launch the boulder at the same time as lowering these bars, because as soon as I do that the enemies will join me, and that's a bit annoying. So they're making their way over now. But that should be fine, yeah. I'll just let go of the stuff now so the bomb explodes faster, and there we go. And now we just have another chase sequence, again with this cat, and yes, that's definitely a cat, don't question it. Definitely not a meme inside the community, consisting of 3 people. So yeah, I'm just running away, so there is not too much to explain here. And I'm definitely not trying to cover up any mistakes I'm making, so Zed, if you want to pluck anything, please go right ahead.
Sure thing. So now we have reached $400, which is amazing, but please remember that we are raising funds for Save the Children, which is an amazing organization helping out children all over the world in this terrible COVID-19 pandemic we are currently in. I think me and probably many of the watchers of this channel are in a good position of not getting too much issues and getting through this trouble, but there are many children around the world who really can need all the help they can get. And don't feel ashamed if you can't donate much. Every little dollar helps. Every little bit amount that we can send towards Save the Children is benefiting a great cause and will make a difference in the world. So please make us proud for SpeedCon and consider donating toward this amazing cause that we are raising funds towards. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm already in the next tomb. This one, the gimmick here is to have these gas pedestal that you can light by putting your torch next to them, or as I explained earlier, I have the Spitfire, which shoots fire projectiles, so I can actually remotely light these pedestals, which is very helpful. So there you saw again the very cool grappling hook that just shot straight ahead instead of attaching to the ring. Again, that's why I usually try to fire it first once without even attaching it. Next I will try to jump across the gap with a bomb boost that I'm not supposed to yet. It's not a super big time save, but hopefully it works. Yeah, that's fine. Saves like, I don't know, 10 seconds maybe. So huge time save. And again, like a lot of these puzzles here are just sped up because I have the Spitfire, which obviously I wouldn't have in new game. But you're not missing much, is what I'm saying with this. So in this level, a lot of the water is boiling hot, so I would take damage if I were to go into the water, which I will to light this one here. And now it's just more enemies I have to get rid of. Again, with the crocodiles that I have to bomb. Which is a bit annoying, because your mines do have a bit of a cooldown, so you can't spam them too much. Yeah, so, oh, that was already nice. Yeah, usually there are like 2 skeletons that can wander off into nothingness, and you wonder where they are. Here I will attempt to go for another skip that also doesn't save too much time, but if it works, it looks good, and if it doesn't work, then I look like an idiot. Guess not this time. So yeah, you can launch yourself over the gap by standing on that boulder. It is a bit finicky, because that boulder can easily slip out from underneath you, and you just fall down into your death. And now what we want to do is obviously take that orb of light there and take it all the way to the next... Hello, what was that? Take it to the next receptacle. You go on ahead, and that will start a very fun, not chase sequence, but escape sequence, where you have to roll across crumbling platforms, which is definitely no problem, because the platforming in this game is flawless. Also, I hope that my co-partners, especially Razor, who hasn't done a solo run of this, really appreciate seeing what this game actually would be like if co-op wasn't broken. And again here, taking small shortcuts because I have the Spitfire, and the camera's not showing me where I am, which is also very helpful. So yeah, now I just have to light these, and you can already see these platforms, they're not too stable, and obviously as soon as you walk across them, they start to crumble. So again, I'm not seeing too far ahead here because of the camera, which is annoying. And rolling across these diagonally connected tiles can give you a roll, which can be good, but sometimes also not, because usually you're supposed to jump out of rolls, or be able to jump out of rolls, but sometimes you can't. And yeah, what I'm saying is this chase sequence is dumb. In a roundabout way. But I think that should work out. Alright, that's that. I'm trying to think what's next. Yeah, next I think is already the... I don't even remember what it says in the game code, but I know the next kind of boss has a very good name. That Toxic found out because he's a hacker. I mean, what? But yeah, so next is a not really boss, but mini-boss fight. We have to make our way into the boss arena, and you're supposed to do quite a few puzzles. But luckily, Toxic found a pretty cool skip, so we don't have to do that. So the gimmick will be that there will be these eyeballs spawning out of the ground, and to make them disappear and proceed with the puzzles, you're supposed to bomb them. That also will be the mechanic of the boss fight. So I'm already placing a mine here because that's where the eyeball will spawn, but first I have to get rid of all these scarabs. So there it will spawn. Bye. And here I get a short cutscene, and then I'll try to clip through the gate that's locked right now. So obviously what you're supposed to do is go all the way around and unlock the gate in other ways, but what we also can do is roll off here, hold on to this ledge, and then drop off here and just almost jump behind it. Okay, good save. We still have to do the boss fight, sadly, but it does save a lot of time, trust me, because it also saves a lot of cutscenes where you can't do anything. So again, here the boss mechanics are rather obvious. Just whenever the eyeball appears, bomb it. But there can also be these fake outs where it just quickly surfaces and shoots projectiles at you. And no, you can't bomb it, even if you time it perfectly. It's just, as I said, a fake out. And when it's not there, usually you get annoyed by these scarabs spawning. There will be a lot more. Like that, so that's where you usually use your mines as well, because as I said, scarabs usually are one shot by them. Thank you for that very accurate transcription, Sam. And after this tomb, it will already be time for the second big boss fight, which, as I said, is Sobek-kun, the crocodile, which is arguably the biggest RNG fight in the game. You will see why. If I can hit this eyeball, very helpful. And you may also be wondering what controller I'm using, and I would assume that you don't guess the correct answer. So I used to play this with a PS3 controller until it didn't work anymore, and ever since I switched to a Switch controller. Don't question it. So yeah, the gate is still locked, so we still have to go out of bounds again, and the way back is arguably a bit more difficult because you can fall down, but I think that's good. Yes. Yes, switching to Switch never gets old, doesn't it, Sad? But yeah, I'm using the Switch Pro controller, which you actually can use with Steam by now, which is really cool, because otherwise I would not have had any options to play this on controller. And even though I asked Toxic to learn this on keyboard, somehow he doesn't want to. So this time there is actually a skip, so we could also skip the, stopping the rain here, but it is very marathon unsafe. And thus I won't do that, but I can show you this cool area where you can... So this is where I previously was supposed to change night to day. And you can also change rain to not rain, and soon we will be able to change the second weather condition that will appear after the next boss fight. So before I can enter the pyramid, I have this large crocodile enemy here that can take anywhere between 1 and 3 cycles. I still haven't really figured out why it's so different. Okay, that's at least not a 1 cycle. Okay, it's 2 cycle. Like, I don't know. Damn, insane rate. Thank you very much for that. And I'm so excited about that I go into the wrong direction. Very good. But yeah, so this is the again the boss hub. Last time we went to the left, which is why I automatically went there as well. But we don't fight Capri, we want to fight Sobek, which is the crocodile deity. And the gimmick in this fight is you have, it's obviously taking place in this water arena. And you have, in the middle you have this basket. And you have these platforms. And there will be some bombs spawning in. And the idea is to launch the bombs into the basket. And then raise the basket, because then Sobek will try to devour whatever is in the basket. That looks good, yes. I usually wait there until I'm sure that the bomb is in the basket, because if you do it early and the bomb drops out, it wastes a whole lot of time, because obviously then it doesn't hurt Sobek at all. So now that he swallowed the bomb, he will surface somewhere else after being hurt. Up there, okay. And then we have to bomb his belly, which is his weak point, as you may be able to tell. So sometimes you can actually clip inside his body, which will instantly kill you. Don't question it, but it has happened. So that would be a lot of fun. So now we have these smaller crocodiles spawning that produce these dumb projectiles that can also blow up bombs, which is very not cool. So I hope... oh boy. Not fun. That one looks... not sure if that's better. We'll see. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, if I wouldn't get knocked down from my platforms, please climb that. Thank you. So you can see the projectiles of these monsters. They destroy the platforms, which is annoying. But they respawn shortly thereafter. And again, second time we bomb him. As you can see from the life bar, it will take 3 shots. And you can already kind of... Nice. You could prepare some bombs if Sovek wouldn't destroy them. Okay then, guess I'll use this one. Except that I can't use my bomb for some reason. Guess it was swallowed again. Okay, that should be not good. See, that's why you usually wait for a bit before going for the shot. There we go. So now you should swallow the bomb for a 3rd time, and unless something really, really bad happens, that should be this boss fight. And as you may be able to tell, yeah, there is quite a bit of RNG involved here with enemy spawn patterns and where they attack and how quickly your bombs get devoured. That's good. Okay. So that was boss number 2. I mean, big boss number 2. Which brings us kind of to the end game already. So there will be 3 more tombs and then the final boss. And out of these 3 tombs, at least 2 of them are notoriously dumb, if not to say difficult. So we'll see how that goes. But as you can see, the now the gimmick is that the land has been frozen and we have to unthaw it. Or thaw it rather. Unthaw. I don't know. So yeah, now thanks to the snow, there is a bridge now here that allows us to access this final part of the game. And we have 3 more tombs, as I said. The first one will be the Tomb of the Torture. And you will always die here when entering this tomb. I don't know why. Which is also why you see all these canopic jars here, which symbolize where a friend or someone from your friend list has died. And they just stack up there on the entrance. I don't know why you automatically die there. It's very cool. So yeah, here we can cross this gap with a bomb boost, which saves a bit of time. And as you can see, the lighting here is very sinister to really hammer home that this is the Tomb of the Torture. Amazing game design. Thank you. So in this part I need to get 3 of these orbs and bring them to the central location, obviously. But we can take a few shortcuts, hopefully. So here I will immediately extinguish that one. And I want to lure the enemies a bit away, because there is... Well, very cool. Well, that hasn't happened. Okay, so that's a usual skip. So I guess I hope I can reach it with another bomb here. Let's see. Yeah, that should be... Oh my god, please squeeze through. I'll get that one later, I guess. Very interesting. So there are these spikes coming out of the ground, but with a good rocket launcher shot you can maneuver that ball away before the spikes interfere. Now I should be able to push both of them to the central location. And I still need to fish out the first boulder where that's not supposed to happen. Very cool. Oh boy, it's all the way back there. Can I just retrieve it from there? Nope. So again, I need to do this insane skip here. I guess I go the long way then. I'll try one more time from here. Ah, that looks better. Guess now I just go the same way again. Very cool. So this is not a part where you can easily lose time, as you can see. Because these boulders are very, very finicky to inputs. And blasting them around with explosive doesn't help. But with that out of the way, we're approaching the final part of this tomb. First we have to take care of... hello? First we have to take care of this part, so obviously the spikes spawn and you should avoid getting impaled here. That's generally helpful. But we also need to hit these 3 switches to... hello? To open up these rings. And again, I shot my grappling hook there to unbug it, because usually if you don't do it, Lara will just fire it into nothingness. And here you can see these markers telling you where the spikes come up. Oh no, this is getting very narrow. Oh damn, I have no escape. Oh, amazing. Yeah, I know, right? This is more of a Tomb Raider than the modern Tomb Raiders. So I don't know what they thought about this. It's a bit frustrating. In case you're wondering, this came out 2014, so after the first reboot game. But like lore-wise, it's still in the old trilogy. Or, well, I guess medium-old trilogy, so not the classic games, 1, 2, 5, but the bad games in between. I mean, what? So yeah, that was that part. And after this, it's just kind of an escape sequence, but it's very short and not too challenging. Again, shooting my grappling hook, so I don't have to do it later on. Oh, nice reach. How dare I call Legend bad? Well, I played it, that's how I dare. So that's this tomb. The next one will be a boss battle. The Tomb of the Pharaoh. And yes, I did not change the saturation there, that's actually what they chose. I usually have to look away from the monitor because of how saturated the colors are. This area can be a bit confusing, so don't worry if I take the wrong route, but this looks okay. So again, here this will be purely a boss battle in this very interesting arena. You can start usually damaging, yeah, the Pharaoh while it's still spawning, which is nice, but sometimes it also bugs out, like that. Very cool. So now enemies will spawn, I have to kill a few, and then the Pharaoh will spawn again. And here you can, as I mentioned, the amazing auto-targeting system. Just perfect, never misses its shot. Okay, so now we will have 2 rounds of these traps activating, so there is really not all that much to do except not go into the traps. And after that, it's just like shooting a bit more at the boss because he's already on such low health. So if there's anything to say, Zed, please go ahead.
Sure thing. We did receive a $5 donation from somebody calling themselves 7Lara7, saying, "How does it feel to finally do something in the Temple of Osiris run? This changed from our co-op runs, right? Get sub 50 and Osiris will offer you Japanese food."
So, 2 things to digest there. So yeah, usually when you play Lara in this game in co-op, at least for the first half, you spend most of it being dead because that's easier for the camera to unlock. So that's a thing Eraser enjoyed quite a bit when he learned this run, just killing himself as quick as possible and then trying to distract me by going and make tea or something, I don't know. And sub 50 is rather unrealistic. But not to worry, I don't want to make Osiris poor because prices in Switzerland, you know. Anyway, so here might softlock, hopefully not. That might softlock, yeah, never mind. Of course I had to mention it, but don't worry, I have a reload checkpoint. So yeah, what we want to do there is clip ourselves through the gate with a bomb boost and hitting us while we're jumping, but you can get stuck, which is a bit sad. And you can see the amazing loading times. By the way, there is no load remover for this game, so that's very fun. When you actually do attempts and all of this counts towards your final time. Okay, next try. That looks better. So for some reason the top part of this specific gate does not have collision. I don't question it and neither should you. So this is the final tomb. The Tomb of the Architect, and it's also by far the worst tomb, because of course it's the worst tomb, because it's the last one. Just make a load remover myself. No. Actually, this game was free on Steam 2 weeks ago, so oh well, I guess. Anyways, so here I want to get rid of these guys first because they can be very annoying. Usually I don't do that, but just for safety, so they don't push me off the platforms. This is why you usually don't do it, because it gets really annoying. Okay, there we go with that. I'll just get rid of them. And, actually, I'll wait for a new boulder here, because it's already on red. So the idea is to obviously use the boulder to weigh down the switch. There we go. And in this tomb, using the staff, as you can see, interacts with the cogs here. These one, it makes spin faster if you use the staff, which is good, because then I don't have to wait for as long. Other cogs will be slowed down, which can also be helpful, so you can make certain cycles. Here, you can just jump over this, and yes, definitely want to land there. Yes, I said cog. I tried my best to pronounce it as family-friendly as possible. So you can see more of these light orbs you can extinguish. But this time you have to kind of time when to stop them. Usually I just stop them at some point and I hope I get it right. I guess I'm too far away for the one in the back. Please. Thank you, there we go. And that's that. So here some things can go wrong. So for example, my staff attack might get interrupted. Doesn't look like it. Good. Sometimes the staff just doesn't work on this platform, which is very funny because you absolutely need it to complete this puzzle. So we had to get rid of those guys to make that ring appear. So we almost die. So we can extinguish this orb. And now we can go on ahead because we don't get burned anymore. Again, grappling hook here, so I have to shoot it once first. And I immediately run into the flames. Very nice. Obviously this was on purpose to refill my already full health. Okay, let's try to avoid the fire for once. Actually I want to get rid of these guys as well, they're annoying. Because what I want to do is get rid of those turrets over there, so I can use the platform, there we go, to continue on ahead. And again, I can manipulate the speed at which these cogs are rotating. As you can see, this one slows down the rotation speed. This one speeds it up. Yes, insane cycle. So this one I just wait out, because it only gets slowed down by the staff, as you can see. And now we're good to go. Can you grab that? Thank you. So what you don't want to do is roll over such like a transition between two cogs, because usually Lara will just hang on to one of them and then she gets squished and one-shot. So that's something you have to learn to avoid. Because it's very natural in this game that you want to roll, because obviously it's the fastest way of movement, as you may be able to tell. It's quite significant. But on these spinning platforms you want to avoid that. Alright, so that was the last big puzzle, because now we can go ahead and just do the final part of this tomb, which is another escape sequence with the cat, or should I say that cat, which will not be the last time we see it, but it will be the last escape sequence with it. Nice cycle. Oh my god. You can, like, you're not one-shot by these flames, as you can see, but yeah, you don't want to spend too much time getting burned. It definitely eats into your health. There you see like one of the many bonus objectives that we don't care about, because New Game Plus, and even in New Game you don't really care about them too much. So that was the last tomb. Now we have all the body parts and we're on our way to the final boss. Just have to go to the main plaza, turn winter into summer, which also opens the gate to the final boss, and then we're good to go with that, which also brings us to the point where we would have been, like, I don't know, 45 minutes ago in a co-op run. Just for demonstration purposes. So yeah, as I said, literally co-op run is get out of tutorial tomb, clip into final boss, kill final boss. So now I'll just make my way over there, but there's not too much to say. So before the final boss, Zed, if you want to say anything, whatever it is, please go ahead. Can also be something nice to me, I don't know.
Yeah, you're doing a very great job with this run. It will be a pleasure to watch, and we have many more runs coming up, which are also going to be pleasures to watch. And I want to remind everybody that while we are raising funds for Save the Children, there are some donation incentives available. For example, for the Ace Combat 2 run coming up in 5 runs, you can choose the category if it's the good ending or the bad ending. And currently, I think there is not yet a donation set towards this goal, so you have a free path right now to set the ending you want.
Alright, so this is the final boss. As you may expect, more light orbs to be lit, except this time we're kind of on a timer, because the cat will spawn after a while and try to light them up again. And for these I actually have to use my torch to set them afire with the blue light. I can't use the Spitfire for this, which is why I have to run into them. Also insane bonus objective here, running between Set's leg. Don't like the spawns behind me there. Can you shoot at Set? Thank you. Again, shoutouts to auto-aim in this game, it's flawless. As is this orb, and getting interrupted by scarabs. So this is the second phase. And don't worry about it, Set, it's all good. Nice view. Yeah, so the second phase, there are 3 phases, so Paul, you can get ready on time, kind of. Like, it's not immediate, especially if I get blocked like this, but it's not too far away. Because this is second phase of damaging Set. One more. Alright, now definitely get ready on time. One more orb. And one more damaging phase. And I don't like the enemies here. And time. Very cool. I don't know what the time is, but I assume I'm not getting Japanese fruit from Osiris.
It's a 51:56.
Okay, thank you very much. I blame that solely on the crash. Yeah, so that was Temple of Osiris. Very cool game. I can really recommend it. Even though most people for some reason prefer Guardian of Light, they all have been misled. Trust me. Yeah, so that was it for me for this marathon. Thank you very much again for having me for yet another year. Thank you, Zed, for your amazing job at commentary. Or, well, commentary as well, but hosting. And yeah, hope you enjoy the rest of the marathon.